UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for an end to attacks and release of hostages on both the sides. Now, he urged all parties to allow access to the UN to send humanitarian aid.
Medical equipment, food, fuel and other humanitarian supplies are desperately needed, along with access for humanitarian personnel. Relief and entry of essential supplies into Gaza must be facilitated, and the UN will continue efforts to provide aid to respond to these needs. And I urge all sides and relevant parties to allow United Nations access to deliver urgent humanitarian assistance to Palestinian civilians trapped and helpless in the Gaza Strip.
The UN chief also stressed that he is deeply stressed by Israeli siege of Gaza. Now, after Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that Israel was going to impose a total blockade on Gaza, including a ban on admitting food and fuel to the area amid the country's battle with Hamas terrorists. Former US Speaker Kevin McCarthy has not ruled out returning to the post if the House Republican Conference cannot decide on a replacement. Now, the unprecedented power vacuum in Congress currently has severely limited US ability to quickly respond to the crisis in Israel or any of the mounting problems at home and abroad. After a move by 8 far-right Republicans to remove McCarthy as Speaker last week, the House has no clear idea what and who. The House has no clear idea on who to elect to fill the job next. Take a look at this.
Unfortunately, the House can do nothing without a Speaker. I could be upset with 8, but I could be upset with every single Democrat as well. They both made the same decision, a political decision, instead of putting America first.
McCarthy jumped into the void on Monday, criticizing President Joe Biden's administration over its defense on Israel. He called it wrong for the House to have no speaker in the midst of an international crisis.
What message does it send to our allies, to the rest of the world, that the House did not elect a new speaker?
It's wrong. It's wrong. The whole action. Think the basis why it took place. Because I made a decision to keep government open. What if government wasn't open? How weak would we be then? You know, people get to run for office. People get to perform as they want. Sometimes people perform for their own personal. But there comes a moment in time that people should stand up for that. This is the United States of America. We are living in very dangerous times. The pettiness has got to stop.
The decades-long conflict between Israelis and Palestinians is rooted in competing claims to the Holy Land and includes disputes over borders, Jerusalem, security and Palestinian refugees. The United States has long sought a solution to the conflict that results in 2 states, although the Trump administration adopted policies that diverged from that goal. Now, as per the Council on Foreign Relations, a key think tank here, the Biden administration has reaffirmed U.S. support for a 2-state solution but hasn't moved to restart negotiations. It has instead promoted Israeli-Arab normalization and resumed aid for Palestinians.